CBS presents this program in color.
Hold it. I think you're going to like this picture.
Ready? Go.
Here's Mike Murphy. He's the man of the past of the more. Here's Mike Murphy. It's the show with the most on the score. Well, he's never been in a press box. I talk with the jocks through the locker room door. Yes, here's Mike Murphy. The slam dunk.
That's all it is. Fans talking to fans. Just you and me. Me and you. Just us. How you doing, everybody? Murph with you from now. Thank you, Howard Burke. From now until 2 o'clock. And we will be guest-free until 1:30. Then we'll get into some Inside the Bears with our guy, the Dr. M.D. Smith, Michael David Smith over at ProFootballProspectus.com. So we'll pepper in some Bears between now and 2, around 1:30. But let's try to open up the door. There's something that's happening. Something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. Buffalo Springfield. Now, here's the thing. Oh, did you look at your pocket schedules for the Cubs and the Sox? Or did you look ahead and see what's going on this weekend? I'm not sure how we turn this into a text question. I don't think we can. Jay Zawowski, if you're smarter than I am, figure out a way to make this a text question. The Cubs and Sox this weekend. Did you see who they're playing? Did you look ahead yet? No, not each other. That's another week or so down the road. The Cubs this weekend, home. The White Sox on the road. Sox in Milwaukee, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Milwaukee, first place. Cubs, second place. And baseball symmetry. Catch it. The Cubs this weekend at home. Minnesota Twins, the first place Minnesota Twins. How about that? So, what do we, actually ahead of the second place Twins, ahead of the White Sox. So, what do we have right now developing? A weekend where? Cub fans? Sox fans? No, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna. I was gonna say you gotta root for the Chicago teams. You gotta root for the Chicago team. No singing allowed right here in the seventh inning stretch. Cub fans, you need the White Sox to knock off the Milwaukee Brewers. Sox fans, you need the Cubs to knock off the second place Minnesota Twins. Jay, how do we make that a text question? We can't. Because it's going to get all, what do they call it, cross-pollinated. There's no way we can just say you're going to root there, because...
We can do it. We can find a way.
Why don't we do... How do you do it?
Y...
For yes, you're going to root for both teams.
No, you put Y.
Okay. Yeah, for yes.
For yes, and then S if you're a Sox fan.
It's too complicated.
Or C if you're a Cub fan. So Y-S-Y-C, N-S...
C-Y-A. No, well, how about just... I like that, but if it's complicated for me, then everyone else understood it. Now, here's the thing. How about just... You like yes Y for yes?
Yeah, we can just do yes or no.
Okay. Are you going to root for both the Cubs and the Sox, yes or no? That's pretty damn simple, right?
Yeah, that's simple.
All right. Y or N, are you going to root for the Cubs and the Sox? Yes. Why? Because doesn't matter what side of town you're on. You need both teams. Our texting powered by U.S. Cellular 67011. Y or N. All right. You know what? We're going to get to plenty of baseball over the next hour and a half. And we're going to get to plenty of White Sox. But someone's been lost in the shuffle. And that would be the red-hot, surging, bull market Chicago Cubs. They're on their way. 8 of the last 12. The Cubs under the radar. It's a bull market stampede. Here they come. Look out, the Bulls are coming. It's a bull market, everybody. Jump on your Cubs. There they go. They got the hustle and the muscle. All right. Twice in one day, Jay, this song? We haven't played it in like 3 months.
I've not heard it in a long time.
But now we got to hear it twice in one show. It's all right. Why not?
Twice.
The Cubbies are hot. The Cubbies are coming, tra-la, tra-la. Down in Houston today. All right. Now, I want to do this. I want to ask Cub fans if it is time to, it's sort of like the stock market, you watch some of these shows maybe, and they got the bull market and the bear market. And we've had a bear market in this market now, the New York Stock Exchange, for well over a year and a half. And a terrible, terrible bull market, as we all know. Now, stock market is rallying a little bit. Is it a false market? Is it a real bull rush? Or is it just a bear market disguised with a little bit of an uptick? I want to ask you this. 644-6767. Cub fans, there has been so much negativity. There have been so many experts, so many fans, probably you, that have said it's over, this team sucks, everything's wrong. And for a big part, that has been right on. Now, let's look at something right now. And it's my famous, not just games behind in the standings, but my two theories, which I believe are ironclad. Number one, until you're in second place, the standings mean nothing. And the real way to read the standings is not just games behind, but total games behind when you're third, fourth place. For instance, on Tuesday morning, May 26th, what's that, about 3 weeks ago? On Tuesday morning, May 26th, in your newspaper, the Chicago Cubs were at their low water mark of the year, 21 wins, 22 losses. They were one game under 500. But worse than that, they were not in first, second. They were in fourth place. Here were the standings 3 weeks ago. Milwaukee Brewers in first place, which they still are. St. Louis Cardinals, 1 game back. Cincinnati Reds, 2.5 games back in third. And the Chicago Cubs, mired in a losing streak, coming back from San Diego and losing Monday against the godforsaken Buccos. On Tuesday morning, May 26th, in your newspaper, Milwaukee in first, Cardinals in second, Reds were in third, and the Cubs were 5 games back in fourth. That's not 5 games back in second. The Cubs this morning are tied for second. They're back in second. They have leapfrogged from fourth place, third place, tied for second this morning. 2.5 games back with the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. It's what you call a 3-way tie. Now that a team, once a team's in second place, you can start looking at games behind. The Cubs are right now 2.5 games behind and 2.5 total games behind. Guess how many total games behind the Cubs were on Tuesday, May 26th, their low water mark, 21 wins, 22 losses, limping back from that road trip, losing to the Pirates. The Cubs were 11.5 total games behind. 5 behind the Brewers, 4 behind the Cardinals, that's 9. 2.5 behind the Reds, 11.5. This Cubs team right now is winning. They're playing their best ball, and they're still playing at about 50%. So I want to ask Cub fans, I'll get right to the phones, 644-6767. Is this a bull market stampede? Is this finally, like on Wall Street, can you call the turn right now? Can you say they've turned from a bear market to a bull market? Can you say right now that this team is going to rally? And are you going to call the finish right now? The way it looks to me, the Cubs have this division wrapped up. All right, turn the cattle away. Turn those bulls away. 644-6767. Let's go to Skokie, Illinois. Steve-O, it's Murph, driven to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Murph, how you doing?
Hey, Steve-O, I'm fine. You know what? It's not easy to call any type of change. You know, in April, is the weather changing from old man winter? Have we broken the back of old man winter? Well, here, it's still winter time, it seems, in Chicago. Can you call a turn in the Cubs season right now, Steve-O?
Oh, yes. With the number of games they made up within, 2.5 weeks?
Yes.
They're right in the thick of things, and you want to know something? I would rather have them get hot now and take it into the late summer and then seal the deal.
When you get to second place, now all of a sudden you can look at the standings. You know what I mean? When you're third, fourth, fifth, it doesn't matter because you got to do the leapfrog, the total games behind. Now the Cubs are in second place this morning, albeit a 3-way tie with the Reds and the Cardinals. Now you're looking right up at the Brewers.
You're right, and hopefully the Sox will put them away this weekend.
Now, as a Cub fan, Steve, let me ask you. Cubs are playing the Twins 3. You want the Cubs to sweep the Twins, of course. Sox are playing the Milwaukee Brewers, a 3-game sweep by the White Sox and a 3-game sweep by the Cubs, and you could be in first place Monday morning. You are rooting for the White Sox.
For once, yes.
Well, you have to. How can you not?
Yeah.
You're going to play the Sox 6 times over the next few weeks anyway, home and home. That's when you can get involved in the north side, south side, right?
Exactly.
Bingo. Steve-O, thanks, buddy.
Hey, Murph?
Yes.
One quick question.
Yes.
With Milton Bradley playing last night,
yes.
going to Lou Piniello's office, knocking on his door, telling him to get in, do you think this has to do more with money? Maybe he knows he's going to break down, because if he plays 75 games this year, that $12 million option gets vested for the last year.
Well, you know what? I would hope that what you state is pretty close to what I read. I don't have the contract in front of me. You don't either, but we've read those type of things. So let's go to your question. Is it possible? Anything's possible. Number 3, do I think Lou Piniella would do that? No. And here's one thing I've learned, Steve, that most managers, not all, most managers do not want to know any of the added incentives, clauses in the contracts. For that very reason, they don't want to be put in a box. Sometimes if a relief pitcher, 70 appearances, he gets an extra $100,000. How would you like to be the manager? The guy's got 69 appearances. It's the last game of the year, but you don't really want to bring him in, but you can help him make some dough. You don't want to be in that spot if you're the manager. Does Lou know? I have no way of knowing.
Well,
all right.
Hopefully he turns it on, too.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Steve. Oh, appreciate it. Guy like Dusty Baker, what he wanted to do was he wanted to know all the different incentives so that he could make sure that his player, and this was his, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What Dusty wanted to know was that he had a relief pitcher who on his 60th appearance would pick up $100,000, and the 65th appearance another 100, and the 70th. He'd make sure if the kid was on 64 appearances, 69, whatever, he would make sure he got him in the game. Why? That's up for Dusty to answer. Wanted the players to like him, though. That'd be one way. Vuk is on your side. You know that. Jeff Vukovich. Hey, it's Murph's Nationwide Insurance Agent of the Year. For all your needs, he's right there. He's in Park Ridge. He's solid as a rock. For all your insurance needs, Vuk. Jeff Vukovich. He's on the Kennedy Expressway. Hello, Bill.
Hey, how you doing, Murph?
Good, Bill. I'm calling a bull market rally. It's the market. The Cubs have turned the corner.
Well, Murph, I love you to death.
But
my fear is that you're the Cubs fan optimist and I'm the Cubs fan pessimist. It's too early for me. I'm going to wait and see who gets healthy. The Cardinals.
All right, well, Bill, with all due respect, and I'm not the eternal optimist. If you've been with me over 18 years, I feel bad that I haven't been able to convey it. But neither here nor there, Bill. Let me ask you this: when are you going to make it? When are you going to step out and make it? Tell me now that they're dead, right?
I'm not telling you.
Well, it's easy, Bill. Bill, it's easy. Oh, it's too. See, Bill, that's, to be honest, I love you, but that's lame. That's weak. It's weak to sit here and go, I don't know yet. Tell me either way, but don't sit on the fence.
I can't call the division now with the Cardinals out there.
All right. Thank you.
With LaRussa and the Cardinals. But Murph,
Yeah.
I got one thing for
Yes,
you.
sir.
All right. This item seems to have dropped off the face of the earth, but your last caller brought up the Dusty era.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when remember when Mac Newton was hired as a conditioning coach?
Sure.
The Cubs had a rash of DL injuries, and he was brought in to get their groins and everything else conditioned. They had no DLs from the time he was hired till the time he was fired.
So what are you saying?
The story the fans heard was he was let go because the players didn't like him.
All right, what are you saying?
I'm saying, what did he do, and why aren't they doing that again? And could Bradley and other people benefit from that kind of coach?
Appreciate the call. Bill on the Kennedy's probably halfway near to Edens by now. He's been holding. Thank you very much. All I know is that there were reports in the paper that Milton Bradley is one of the most flexibility, trunk, inflection, and reflection, and they do all this stretching. They say, hey, he's a loosey-goosey, stretchy guy. Sports Radio 670, it's Murph. Cub fans, can you declare a bull market? Are you going to say, no, it's still a bear market for the Cubs? Or are you going to say, I don't know, it's too hard to tell? Wow, look at our text results when we return. Y for yes, N for no, 67011. Will you root for both the Cubs and the Sox this weekend against the rival Twins and Brewers? I'll have those results. Need to hear from you. 67011. The Score. let's get back to the phones. Murph with you till 2. Before 2 o'clock, we will visit with Michael David Smith over at Pro Football Prospectus, little Bears talk. We will talk about the White Sox game last night. The home plate umpire, did he really say safe and then change to out? Or were we all influenced by the media? And Bobby Jenks, I guess he's got a little tug or a little pull right there, but my gosh, he's missed quite a few games. Hadn't heard much about that. We'll cover that. And a Murph moment with maybe Jerry Reinsdorf was correct all along. Well, let's get back to the phones. Got a big bull market right now with the Chicago Cubs. The market has turned. The bear market is gone. It's a bull market now, the Cubs. They had 7 out of 10, 8 out of 12. Now in second place. Everything's starting to click. Fontenot's clicking. Derek Lee's clicking. Even last night, Gio Soto clicking. All right, turn those. Get the Bulls out of here. And how about Ted Lilly and Mark Burley? Wait till you hear the number I have on them. We went back 162 games. Not a contest, no prize, don't phone in, but in the car, jot down in your head, guess, what do you think the won and lost record is, wins and losses over the last 162 games? In other words, from this point in the season this year to this point in the season last year, you'll never guess, and it's almost identical, by the way. The W and L wins and losses for these two guys, Burley and Lilly, amazing. Let's go to 654. 644-6767. Let's go to Rob as a car phone. Hey, Rob.
Hey, how's it going, Murph?
Good. Hey, Rob, my text results are rolling in. You have not yet declared on the air. I don't know if you're a Cubs or Sox fan. If not, no.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to ask you, yes or no, will you, I didn't want to know yet, will you root for both the Cubs and the Sox this weekend? Sox against the Brewers, Cubs against the Twins? Everybody needs everybody to pull together on this. Yes or no for you?
Sure. I always vote for the Sox unless they're playing the Cubs.
All right. And you know what? Sox knock off the Brewers 3 straight. Cubs knock off the Twins 3 straight. You'd be very, very happy.
Extremely happy.
You've declared, and we're talking to Cub fans mostly this hour anyway. So what do you have for me, Rob?
Well, the thing I think is great is despite this trouble that the Cubs had, this Wells guy, they caught lightning in a bottle with this guy, plus the couple guys in the pen, Guzman and this other kid that went 3 innings.
Ascanio, Jose Ascanio.
Right, but I mean, if Wells holds up, he could be the #1 pitcher for the Cubs. So when you're deep in pitching, that cures a lot of ills.
Now let me ask you, you used a great expression there, caught lightning in a bottle with Randy Wells. The implication, and I'm not arguing with you, but that's an interesting phrase, isn't it? What it means to me, the implication, at least to me, it infers that no one knew this guy was going to do this, which is true. So it puts then the spotlight on the Cubs minor league development guys and their own in-house people. They misidentified Terrio 5 years ago. They misidentified Fontenot 4 years ago. Why did they not know that Randy Wells could be this good, or is that the beauty of baseball? Even the insiders sometimes have to catch lightning in their own bottle.
I don't know. That's hard to say. It seems like there's a pattern there, definitely.
Well,
there's something they better examine.
I'll leave you with this. The 12-man Cubs pitching staff right now is the strongest and best of the year. The only weak link is, I would guess, is Kevin Gregg in the bullpen.
Right.
You look at the 5 starters counting Wells. Now you have Marshall in the bullpen as sort of your long man. You got that short man who so far has shown he can do a little bit, Waddell. And you got the right-handers that you're talking about from Gregg and Marmol, and then Angel Guzman and Ascano and the kid Patton right now. That's as good a 12 as the Cubs have had maybe in 2-3 years.
Right.
All right. Go ahead.
I think it may be, right now, it probably is one of the better staffs in the majors, at least in the National League.
Well, there's no doubt about it.
And they've been scratching together wins, 3-2. And the hitting will come around.
Well, that's the key.
Ramirez comes back.
What if?
We can get another player when there's fire sales in July.
Hey, I appreciate it. Always good to hear from you. Thank you, Rob. And thetowngroup.com. These are the big piping chiller HVAC jobs for large commercial industrial properties. Thetowngroup.com. They do it right. West Town, Southwest Town, North Town, Northwest Town. Thetowngroup.com. The white trucks, the red stripes. They do it right. Back in a flash, everyone on hold. I'll get right to you, starting with Downers Grove Bill, Marengo Nate, Gurney, Naperville, Evergreen Park, Jim, Springfield, and Gary moved from Streamwood to Pingree Grove. That's a funny word. Back in a flash, Murph-a-Palooza, driven to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com. Sox and Bears before 2. Not Bulls and Bears, no. Hold on, Sparky.
It's Murph.
You got 5 seconds there, Whipperoo?
15, maybe.
Yeah, well, let's not get carried away.
Okay, yeah, whatever you like.
All right, Whipperoo, we have a... cover this up here. We have a text question involved right now. Oh, look at that. He's got his eyes closed, but you wouldn't know that. All right, the question was, with this weekend's matchups, Cubs are playing the Twins 3 games, and the Sox need the Twins to lose.
Yes.
And this weekend, interleague played against, of course. And the Cubs are playing, and the Sox are playing the Milwaukee Brewers 3 games this weekend, which, of course, the first place Brewers, the Cubs need the Brewers to lose 3 games. So the question's right there on the platter.
It really screws your biorhythms up as a Chicago baseball fan.
So it was very simple. Jay Zawowski said, let's just have a yes or no. And we've had a huge volume right here. Yes or no. Doesn't matter if you're a Cubs fan or a Sox fan. We're throwing all into the cake mix right here. We're baking it right in. Yes or no. Will you be rooting for both the Cubs and the Sox this weekend? Because it helps you as a fan if they both win. Now, something is either happening weird here. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear Buffalo Springfield.
I know it.
I know you do. Or...
for what it's worth.
Yeah, very good. Now, either Jay Zawowski, these numbers are wrong, or there's something weird going on with the Cubs and Sox fans. Are we going to stand by these numbers so far?
These numbers are 100% accurate.
All right, now, since I've already directed the jury, what would you guess normally, Brian Peruk, that, I hate the Cubs. Oh, I hate the Sox. What did you think it would be? Yes, I'm rooting for everybody.
I feel like, just because I feel like I could go 50-50 on that.
Well,
but I feel like the people would go 50-50 on that.
But, I mean, all the hatred.
Sure.
Oh, I hate the Sox. I hate the Cubs. Jay Zawowski, why don't you bring forward here? You be the waiter bringing out the food here.
It's 80% yes.
Yeah.
Rooting for both teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I think that...
what's going on here?
I think that everybody would say that having their own team make the playoffs would be more important than having the other team lose.
Supersedes.
I believe that.
Playoffs?
Which is a funny word. I'm glad in the spelling bee I don't get supersede.
Right.
There's a C and an E and a D and an E and all that. Well, Brian, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm out in the hallway, and Jay Zawowski, I'm out in the hallway, and we have a terrific sales staff here, and we've got veterans, seniors, we've got some, newer junior salespeople, and a couple of the, I'll just say the younger salespeople were standing by, and I overheard them talking about last night. They said something about, hey, let's blow this, remember the old expression, pop the stand? Remember, let's blow this pop.
Blow this pop stand,
No, that's not what they say anymore. Jay, you're a young man here. You've heard the old expression, let's blow this pop stand. Like at the end of the night, you want to get the hell out.
Right.
2 of them, I guess, under 30 years old, both said, let's blow this popsicle stand. And
stand?
No, old guy like that. I go, no, wait a minute here, gals. Hang on a minute. It's blow this pop stand, not blow this popsicle stand. And then I hear another one of the young sale across. No, it's popsicle. 3 of them say, let's blow this popsicle stand.
What's a popsicle stand?
Well, I guess like the good humor truck that rolls down the street. I don't know.
That's a stretch.
I don't know. So, my guess is that it's common nomenclature throughout the 25, 30-year-old range right now that everyone says blow this popsicle stand. How does that happen?
It got changed along the way, Murph.
Well, how do we stop this?
We just popularize pop stand again and say pop stand over and over until somebody catches on.
We got to nip this in the bud.
Nip it in the bud.
There you go. Thank you, Barney. Thank you, Whip. Let's get back to the phone lines. I'm not blowing this popsicle stand. Not today. Let's get back to the phones. Cub fans, I have declared the bear market over. The bull market is raging. The Cubs have come from their low water mark on May 26, 1 game under 500. In 4th place, 5 games behind Milwaukee, St. Louis, and Cincinnati ahead of them, 11.5 total games behind. And this morning, the Cubs with 8 out of 12, 7 out of 10, have now leapfrogged into a tie for 2nd place, just 2.5 games back, 2.5 total games back. The pitching's never been stronger, and the hitting can't stay this bad. Let's go to Nate from Marengo. I'm going to have Sox and Bears talk on that before 2 o'clock for sure. Hello, Nate.
Hey, Murph, how you doing?
Fine. Nate, where do you come in on this?
Well, as far as the bull market,
yeah.
I think the Cubbies are a bull market and a bear market in National League Central. I just don't see everybody else is kind of falling off right now.
So what you're saying, though, is that you do have them winning the division, whereas 2 weeks ago you probably did not.
Murph, I'm a Cubs fan. I got them winning the division every year.
Well, let's be realistic, though, because it makes it more of a legitimate conversation. I don't want blind faith. I want, a love of your team, but I want you to be critical also and critique them. So you now feel the same as you've done for the last 30 years, right?
Well, yeah, almost.
Okay.
I really think what it comes down to, though, if you compare this to 2007, about this time of the year was when
Lou's first year
went on a tear.
Okay.
And you said the 26th, they're 5 games back, 11.5 total. Remember what happened on the 27th on that Wednesday?
Well, you know what? Funny you should mention that. I want to bring in another caller in a minute also, but you're talking about Zambrano, right?
He went on a tear, and I think that fire kind of said that the Cubs were fed up with it, and since then, you said they won 8 out of 12.
Yes.
They finished that, went 2-2 against the Dodgers, and been on a tear since, and their first decent road trip of the year. So you got to think things are turning around.
Zambrano had his ejection on Wednesday, May 27. They started that day 22-22 in 4th place. 10.5 total games back. They beat the Pirates in that game that Zambrano was ejected by the score of 5-2, and it has rolled bear market since then. Are you going to draw this correlation, or was it just a coincidence of Zambrano that day?
Maybe a coincidence, but we've been on a tear since.
Gotcha.
And I'll tell you, I'm a Cubbies fan, but I am rooting for the White Sox this weekend.
Yeah, well, there you go. You're one of the 80%ers out there. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Nate.
Take care.
All right, buddy. How about that? 80%. Next hour, we're going to talk a little bit about what Ozzy said about fans booing. Very interesting. Also, a Murph moment. Maybe Jerry Reinsdorf was correct. And are we that easily influenced that when an announcer says the umpire said safe, then said out, that we actually buy into it and just believe it? Get some from Blind Faith, the rock and roll band from the 60s. Because we have blind faith in all our announcers? Oh, he said it. He said safe and out. Must be true. I think Bill from Downers Grove's been waiting in the weeds for me here as well. I probably deserve it. Hello, Bill.
Hey, Murph, how you doing?
Good, Bill. I understand you're a numbers guy, like a stat man. Is that true?
Well, yeah, that's true a little bit.
Okay.
I know you spent a lot of time on the games behind and total games behind, and I know you've been an advocate of adding another column in the newspaper.
Yes.
I don't think you got room for that, so my suggestion is you simply list games behind the team ahead of you.
Okay.
So that you do have to do a little mental math on yourself. You have to add them up together to find out how far you are really from first place. But Murph, when you do that,
right,
and you simply add them up, that ends up only being the games behind first place. I think that's why they list them that way.
Well, it's how many games you have to win with the teams above you losing. That's my total games behind. Because unless you're in second place, you are farther behind than the GB column indicates.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Now, just for fun, and a lot of people, they're in the car right now, they go, what the hell are these guys talking about? So for that reason, Bill, I'm going to have to leave you with this. For fun today, you want to have some fun today?
Oh, yeah.
We're all about fun. Go check out, when you have a minute, the standings, the Washington Nationals, all right?
All right.
And try to compute their total games behind any way that you wish to do it. I think you'll be shocked. They're about 50, 60 games out right now, the Washington Nationals.
Okay.
All right, buddy?
All right. Thanks, Murph.
Thank you very much. Now, Jake, I have this, we did a little bit of work here. You and Steven helped out. You guys went back 162 games from today, right?
Right.
Now, that's the number of games in a season.
Mm-hmm.
So what your goal was to find out, and we had 2 players pegged, Burley and Lilly, right?
Correct.
Oh, by the way, stay on there, Jim. Jim from Naperville's next. Hey, Jim. Hello.
How you doing?
Good. Jim, you might tie right into this. You wanted to talk about Ted Lilly, right?
Yeah.
What were you going to say, my friend?
Kind of wanted to just take a guess on what, and then kind of talk about his current.
Oh, okay. Well, then let me set it up then. Jim in Naperville is going to take a whack at this. Jay, what you and Steven did was what? Burley and Lilly, you did what?
Went back 162 games and got their record over the last 162.
So like this, we're just about the 1/3 mark this season.
Right.
And you went back about 2/3 last year to the exact point where if you added the games together, it'd be 162. And Lilly and Burley, Jim from Naperville, you wanted, there's no prize or anything, but you wanted to take a whack at this, Jim?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I've had Lilly on my fantasy team for a bunch of years, so I know he kind of struggled in the beginning last year. But he's got to be over 20 wins.
Well, from this this point to that point a year ago, he is 19-9. Maybe, if another few days he'll get another win here and maybe had a loss on the other side. So you're right in the ballpark. 19-9 over the last 162 games. And Mark Burley, even better, 19-8. These guys have been just lights out. We know they're doing well, but I didn't know they were doing that well. Naperville Jim, appreciate the call. Evergreen Park, Jim again. Hey, there's my guy Jim. Hello, James.
Murph, what's going on?
I'm fine. Always good to hear from you, Jim. Longtime great fan, Jim from Evergreen. But Jim, text results are hanging right in there at 80%. Well, 79-21 right now. Would you be a yes or a no? Hey, we want the Sox and the Cubs to sweep this weekend. Cubs sweep the Twins for the Sox, and the Sox sweep the Brewers for the Cubs. Everybody's happy.
Murph, nobody from talking over the years dislikes the Sox more than I do, but I definitely have to cheer for them. I was up last night on the computer looking for the probables against the Brewers.
Wow.
Seeing how the pitching worked out this weekend, at least they'll get Burley on Sunday. So.
Well, you are in Evergreen Park near 95th Street, big White Sox territory, so I can understand you're surrounded by your enemy, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, Jim, what about the Cubs bullpen?
You know what? I think this is going to be a case of this coming probably, and hopefully the hitting will come around. And I think as we kind of talked about it can't get any worse.
Yeah.
I think the hitting is going to get much better, especially when Ramirez comes back healthy. But I think the bullpen is going to end up being a strength. If you look at it, they've got some great arms there. I don't know whatever reason it is. I know some of these guys have had control issues in the past, but if we can just get them to get a little bit more control, like Heilman was lights out last night. With Heilman, Guzman, if they can straighten Marmol out, which again, Marmol kind of went through that period last year, so hopefully that'll be just getting it out of the way early this year. And, Greg is okay. He's not great, but they've got some options if they need to move him from the closer. I just think they've got too many good arms down there to be as bad as they've been. And I think they might end up being real strong for us by the end of the year.
Well, Ascanio, is that his name? Ascanio, Jose Ascanio.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? It's not easy to sit here on the radio and say, anything about a guy you've only seen once or twice, because that would be ludicrous. But I know this. His ball's got action, and he doesn't seem to have intimidation.
No.
And he seems like he gets up there and he throws strikes, and the ball moves like hell, and that's all I know so far. But if he can throw strikes, and most guys come to big leagues, and that's their downfall, and they're back at AAA, and then they're back home, with mom and dad. But if this guy can throw strikes, he's not he's a guy that could be a 7th, 8th inning guy down the line a year or two from now. Could be.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's still fairly young, so I think he got him from the Braves for what's his name, for Infante, right?
Oh yeah, Infante, and they threw in Will Ullman, and the Cubs got Infante for Jockstrap Jones.
Yeah, so I think that'll end up being a good deal. Anyways, Murph, thanks. I appreciate it. Good luck with everything. I just wanted to talk to you, and I know we'll hear you again sometime soon.
Thanks for the kind words and always participating. Always good to hear from you. Thank you, Jim. Evergreen Park, Jim. Oh, I was going to ask Jim about Ted Lilly. How'd you feel when Lilly slides head first into third base on a triple? You figured, well, when the shoulder pops out, hopefully it's the non-throwing right shoulder. What's he thinking? What's he thinking? And you know what? I agree with Sox third base coach yesterday sending home Dwayne Wise. We're going to talk about that play. What the heck? A lot going on at home plate, but Cub fans stay on the line. Get right back to you, Sports Radio 670. Sox and Bears in the 1 o'clock hour, Sports Radio 670. The score. I'm getting hungry. the bull market. Here they come. The bulls are coming. I have called a turn at the Chicago Cubs bull market. They are right now stampeding, and they will win the division. We'll have Sox and Chicago Bears talking the next hour. Let's get back to the phone line. By the way, Fontenot, ever since he bottomed out at a 192 batting average back in San Diego, he is now up to 249, 4 for 5 last night. Garrett Lee is interesting. He's 2 for 3. He's on a nice little roll. They're going to tell you how great he's been doing, but what they won't tell you is over the last 18 games, yes, he's hitting like about 330 and this and that, but over the last 18 games, 9 RBIs. See, he still has to start producing ribbies. Oh, wait, Murph, 18 games, 9 RBIs. That sounds pretty good. Well, that's one every other game. That means 162-game season, 81 ribbies. That's okay. I guess if he finishes with 81, that ain't bad. It's not what you were hoping for. Let's go to the phones, and we got Gary, Pingree Grove. Used to be streamed with Gary. Hey, Gary, what do you? Hey, buddy, fine. What do you got for me?
Well, I think that 80% poll, I don't think is a surprise because anybody who's a Cub fan has to root for the White Sox this weekend to beat Milwaukee because otherwise you're more of a Sox hater than you are a Cub fan. So
and conversely, if
if anybody roots, if any Sox fan roots for Detroit when they play the Cubs, I mean then they're not much of a Sox fan.
So this weekend the Cubs got 3 with the Twins. Sox fans got to cheer for the Cubs, and the Sox have 3 with the Brewers. Cub fans. So we're gonna be one. This is the city of brotherly love for 3 days. We're going to steal that from Philly. Gary, good luck on your move. Always great to hear from you, my friend. Thank you, buddy. Let's bring in Springfield, Illinois. Chris on the score. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Murph, enjoy your show. Listen to you down here.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you, just to give you the pulse of the capital of Illinois.
Yes.
I'm a displaced Sox fan, Southsider, living in the Springfield area.
All right.
There's maybe 5 or 6 of us. The rest are Cubs, Cardinals, and I'm going to tell you right now, there is no way. I thought the Sox-Cubs rivalry was bad. There's no way that the Cardinal fans will root for the Cubs to beat Milwaukee. It's brutal.
Well, I'll tell you, I spent 4 years in Carbondale down at SIU, and I met a lot of great kids from central southern Illinois, all the great towns from Effingham, Pekin, all around. And you know what? They are Cardinal fans, and they despise the Cubs more than any Sox fan who thinks they despise the Cubs. The Cardinal fans have it over everybody.
I know. I thought it was bad living on the south side. It's brutal down here. So when I wear my Sox jersey, they just go, "Oh, you poor fella."
They look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
They go, "Come on, step out." Hey, Chris, got a flash here. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it very much. Murph-a-Palooza. Back in a flash. Hour number 2 around the corner. Sports Radio 670 The Score. Tell you what, Brian, let's do this. Jay Zawoski, get the Etch-a-Sketch, shake it upside down. Let's clear off a new text question, all right? We're going to say old, OLD, text me, or new, NEW, like old school, new school, 67011. Earlier we talked about, Brian, you and I, Brian, Peruk, and Murph, that I heard out in the hallway some of our, 25, 30-year-old employees here talking about, I guess the other night they were, let's blow this popsicle stand and get, I said, wait a minute, let's blow this pop stand. They looked at me like I was nuts. And then over the one of the walls, it echoes, hey, no, it's popsicle stand. Evidently, new school, which is fine. I mean, language is always evolving.
Sure.
Right. Evidently, new school is, hey, let's blow this popsicle stand. Let's get out of here. We always used to say, right, let's blow this pop stand.
Well, I thought we still said that, but until today.
Well, we do. You're right.
Right.
Soda pop. Let's blow this soda pop stand. So I got to find out. Let's do it right now. 67011. OLD, old school, if you say, let's blow this pop stand. And NEW, text me right now, 67011. If you're new school, let's blow this popsicle stand. I got to find out if we should switch or if we're going to stand by the old school.
I think we're going to win this one in the old school, Murph. I have a feeling. I don't want to influence people, so, text what you believe.
Because I'm not changing.
I believe that we are going to win this one.
All right. Let's blow this fudgicle stand, okay?
Let's do that.
Oh, I love fudgicle. Thank you very much. The whip. And that's 67011. Old or the word new. All right. Let's do this. I want to talk Sox baseball, and the big play of the game was last night. Here it is. Sox down 6-4, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded. PK, Paulie Konerko drives the ball into the corner. 1 run scores, tying run scores. coming around third base, Dwayne Wise, and bang, bang, out at the plate. We know that. It's been talked about. A great job on both the shows before mine, Mully Hanley, Hampton Holmes. Now, I'm not asking, do you think he was out or safe? I'm not asking, do you think it was the right move by the third base coach to send him home? No. I want to ask you a bigger picture. Are we Chicago sports fans too easily swayed by the media? Now, how are you going to tie that in, Murph? All right. If you saw the play, you saw that the umpire, Joyce is his last name, right? Jim Joyce, whatever his name is. Home plate name's irrelevant. Home plate umpire staggered a little bit. His arms went a-flopping, sort of like a bird trying to take off, and then he punched him out, you're out. Sort of confusing for a moment, but I noticed, very interesting, it gained a life of its own when our TV guys started talking about the fact that the umpire changed his call. Did he really change his call? And our fans in this town easily swayed by what they hear without using their own eyes. Let's go to Comcast Sportsnet, bottom of the ninth last night. Here comes a tying run around trying to score at the plate.
Stay fair. Stay fair. He will. He will. He's fair. Here comes Wise. They're waiting. Hit around. Here's a throw to the plate. And they get him.
He called him safe and then called him out. And Rayburn does a nice job on the relay throw, and Everett throws it to Laird. You see him call him safe at first and then call him out.
We got to see another angle on that. He called him safe and then called him out.
All right, now, that's Comcast Sportsnet. This hour of the score brought to you by Menards. Now, Sox fans, Cub fans, baseball fans, if you saw that play last night live, or you've heard it or seen it since, I want to ask you a question. When you saw the umpire, his arms went out, his elbows went out, sort of like, a young bird trying to take its first little flight out of the nest, sort of flailing away. To me, I thought he was backing away to be out of the way, and then boom, he called him out. Almost like the umpire, like, whoa, like if you're losing your balance. You know how your arms, flail out a little bit, and then boom, he gave him a big punch. So, to me, it was never a safe then out, but that was just me. But my question is, why was it then that it took a life on its own, that callers started calling in? Here was caller Owen after the game here on the score, WSCR. The Ranger, Chris Ranji, does a great, great job on our post game. Owen
and Willowbrook is up next on the score in the Sox Radio Network.
The thing I would have liked to see Ozzie do was not go out and argue the call by Joyce, but go out and ask him why he put out a safe sign for Wise and then changed his mind and called him out. He deserves an explanation for that, because if you look at that play, he put a safe sign out on Wise at home plate, and then he called him out.
Owen, I kind of thought, and maybe I should, I wasn't really watching the umpire in the replays. I just saw him the first time, and it didn't look like he was going to put his arms up and do that, but I thought that was one of those balancing tightrope things that you do when you're trying to get out of the way of something, and you just kind of throw your arms up. I thought he was trying to get out of the way of the play.
Now, there's the Ranger, and his view of it was that, no, I thought he was just trying to sort of balance himself, get away, but caller Owen said, boy, oh boy, how come Ozzie's not out there asking the umpire? You called him safe, and then you called him out. And if an umpire did that, you'd be right to go out there and say, what the heck are you doing, Mr. Umpire? Or you say it in a few different words than that. How did you see it? Did you think the umpire said safe and then out? Or are we so easily swayed by what we hear on the TV? Dave is calling in next. He's on the Eisenhower Expressway. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Murph.
Hey.
Love the show.
Well, thanks, Dave. Did you see the play happen, or what were your thoughts on the safe out changed by the umpire? Did he change?
Well, I was at the game, and so I didn't hear any of the comments. This is the first time hearing them. I never got the impression that he changed his call. It looked like he lifted up his arms to kind of point that he saw what was happening, and then he punched him out. So I wanted, of course, him to be safe, but I never thought he wavered on it. He looked like he had it all the way.
So your viewpoint, and that's the beauty of it, unless we actually have Jim Joyce, is that his name there, Jay? The umpire, and he's probably not going to say, oh, yeah, I changed the call. It's just for us to try to look at different eyeballs, seeing it different ways. And, Dave, you say, no, I was there, didn't hear the TV to be swayed either way. I appreciate it on the Eisenhower. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thanks, Murph.
I appreciate that, buddy. Appreciate it. Oh, if you're on the Eisenhower, you hop right off at Harlem Avenue. You gotta see Jack.com, Jack Phelan Chevrolet, right there on Harlem, just south of Ogden in Lyons. You gotta see Jack.com. Best time in your lifetime to buy a brand new Chevrolet from Jack Phelan, Johnny Phelan and J.C. Phelan. Now, the calls continue to come in this morning on Mully and Hanley, 6 till 10. Here is caller Steve. Let's see his slant.
Steve is in Chicago. Hey, Steve, you're on with Mully and Hanley.
The thing I have a problem is when the umpire decides to call DY safe first, and it was clear behind home plate that he did that. And then he said, you know what, I'm going to change my mind and call him out.
That Stone pointed that out immediately. Steve Stone does such a great job, and then Hawk picked up the mantle, too. I heard a couple people saying in the postgame that the guy was
losing his
balance, so he was kind of doing a little escape move to try to balance himself.
That's what I thought.
I gotta be honest, I thought he called him safe and then called him out.
No, I was going to say that's good stuff right there. Mully's saying, yeah, I agree with Stoney. And Brian Hanley says, no. He never called him safe then out. Hanley's eyes told him that maybe losing the balance, trying to get back out of the way. 644-6767. Then, let's go to the phone. Let's go to Tony from Highwood. Hello, Tony.
How you doing, Murph?
Good, Tony. I love Highwood. I need a nice Italian restaurant. I know where to go. Tony, what did you see? What did you hear on this play?
The guy just kind of stole my thunder there. Yeah, it was kind of that, he was just trying to get away of that slide, and you have a natural reaction of moving back and your arms kind of go sideways. That's why he called it. That's why everybody said it was a safe call.
In your opinion, the umpire never did make the safe call, in your opinion, no?
No, he never made the safe call. He was getting out of the way.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much.
Stay fair. Stay fair. He will. He will. He's fair. Here comes Wise. They're waiting him around. Here's a throw to the plate. And they get him.
He called him safe and then called him out. And Rayburn does a nice job on the relay throw, and Everett throws it to Laird. You see him call him safe at first and then call him out.
We got to see another angle on that. He called him safe and then called him out.
Now, what's interesting there is that Hawkeroo never had any comments about the safe then out until he heard his partner say it 2 times. Let's go to WSCR Radio. Let's hear how Farmio and DJ saw it, and let's listen closely for their comments on the umpire changing his call from safe to out. Fellas?
Swinging a line drive down the left field line to the corner. Fair ball. 1 run in. Ramirez comes. Racing is Wise around third. Everett throw home. Diving Wise. Out at home plate is Dwayne Wise. Everything had to be perfect to get Dwayne Wise, and it was. 7-6-2 on the out. Well, I tell you, in left field, Rayburn came up and fired a strike to Everett, who fired a strike to Laird. And I don't know if he was out at the plate or not. It was very, very close. I think he was safe. Could have gone either way, but it went in favor of the Tigers.
Now, why did the tape stop there, Jay? You edited that. How come you didn't let it roll to the point where Farmio and DJ talked about how the changed the call? Why'd you stop it so soon?
Well, it never got to that point, Murph.
Hold on. What do you mean it never got to that point? You didn't listen long enough?
No, I listened to the next inning as well, and it never brought it up.
They never said anything about
never
safe,
anything about the safe.
Safe then out?
Right.
I'll be darned. Now, what's interesting, it then worked its way not only from the callers to the score. He called him safe and changed it to out. It worked its way, and I saw our update guy does a great job in the morning here today, Mark Grody. Mark's a great guy, and I saw him in the hallway. I said, Mark, I heard your updates I said, you were commenting on there. Let's listen to, what was it? This was 9 a.m. this morning on the Score, right?
The White Sox were within a play at the plate of beating Detroit last night at home. 2 runs had scored on Paul Konerko's bases-loaded double in the bottom of the ninth to tie it. Dwayne Wise being waved around, called out at the plate on a very close play. As a matter of fact, called safe at first by the ump and then out.
Stop the tape. As a matter of, he used the phrase, as a matter of fact, called safe then out. I saw Mark Gordon. I said, Mark, that was amazing. I said, you was just a matter of fact, meaning it was factual. He goes, well, yeah. And he said, you saved out. I go, yeah. I said, did you see the play? He goes, well, actually, no. I listened to Stoney. I heard the soundbite from Stoney. Isn't that amazing? How something can work its way first into the fan's mind. Oh, boy, yeah. That guy wants safe then out. And then it gets right into what they call, the news loop. And no disrespect to Mark Grody, he does a great job. He's doing a million things. He's cutting, he's editing, he's doing the busy morning show right here with all the breaking news. So that's how things happen. Let's go to Bob's on the northwest side of Chicago. Hello, Bob.
Hey, how you doing, Mark?
Good.
Show,
well, thanks. You're on the air. What do you have for me?
You know what I think is that he was definitely losing his balance. But no one's ever brought up the point where if he was losing his balance, why was he in position to make that correct call? And I don't think he saw the tag by Wise touching the plate, nor did he see, he wasn't able to get into position.
Well, you raise a great point, Bob. The umpires have been instructed, evidently, to stand back there, because they all do on tags at home, and I think it's the wrong spot. They should be with a side view. In other words, more up along the first base line or behind, on the on-deck circle up close. But they stand behind like third base line extended. I don't think they can see it. Bob, I appreciate your call. Let's go next to Lombard Craig. Hello, Craig. Hey, is that, I'm sorry, I got Dean and Rockford. I'm one off here.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Good, Dean.
Hey, I saw the play at 3:30 this morning because I saw the second broadcast. But here's my thing. It looked like to me that the umpire was going to call him safe, but it looked like he kind of said, show me the ball. If I see the ball, you're out. Because the catcher didn't show him the ball.
Well, then what the umpire is, I'm not disagreeing with you. If that's the case, the umpire should make no call until he sees if the ball's there.
You're absolutely correct. But that's the way I kind of thought it.
So you're on Stoney's side there. You thought you did see the safe call begin.
I saw his hands go up, but I didn't see him go all the way, dramatically like you're supposed to.
But started to say safe. So you agree with Stoney. I love it. Thank you. Hey, Dino, appreciate your call. There's Lombard Craig. Hey, Craig.
How you doing, Murph?
Good. What did you see?
Well, here's my take on it. First of all, if you looked at the umpire, when White slid across home plate, he had a lot of force back there. He was going to go right into the legs of the umpire, so the umpire was taking a step back.
He was backing out of the way also. I'm with you, in case AJ also had to backpedal, right?
And that's my other point. Yes. AJ, who was right next to the umpire who makes the call, if that umpire ever said safe, he would have been all over that. He never even commented. They asked him after the game, he said it was a bang-bang play. He never commented about the umpire saying safe because the umpire never did. It's just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
He took a step back because Weiss's momentum took him into his feet, put his arms out to the side.
It was almost like a traffic jam there. You had the Detroit catcher, appreciate the call. And you had the runners coming in, everyone on hold. Get right back to you. It's Murphapalooza, driven to you by Chevy Drives, Chicago.com. Also, some Bears talk. Michael David Smith, best in the business over at ProFootballProspectus.com. We'll pepper in some Bears between now and 2. It's the Score.
The White Sox were within a play at the plate of beating Detroit last night at home. 2 runs had scored on Paul Konerko's bases-loaded double in the bottom of the ninth to tie it. Dwayne Wise being waved around, called out at the plate on a very close play. As a matter of fact, called safe at first by the ump and then out.
Wow. As a matter of fact, that's Mark Grody reporting this morning that the umpire said safe and then out. Many of you disagree. It's interesting how one statement by one person, so like the old game of telephone, go round, and pretty soon it works itself into the truth. Let's go to Dan from, maybe it was, who knows? It's just our speculation. Dan from Wilmington, down near Kankakee and Bourbonnais. Hello, Dan.
Hey, how you doing, Murph? Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, Dan. Hey, did you ever umpire Little League? Man, it's not easy. You ever umpire?
I umpired over there in Frankfurt a long time ago.
That was enough, right? What?
That was enough. That was totally enough.
I hear you.
Yeah. The first time I seen that play, there was no way that umpire was calling him safe. No, I didn't even think about it until everybody started bringing it up again. There's no way he was going to call him safe. He was just catching his balance because the guy slid across the plate and it was running into him. He had to get out of his way.
Don't you think Ozzie would have popped the cork and come running out if he'd have seen a guy go, safe, no, out?
Exactly. He would have been all over him, and there's no way he was calling him safe. It was too close of a call anyway. If he would have called him safe, it would have been great, but there's no way he was calling him safe. He was catching his balance.
Hey, Dan, just a couple months till Pads at Bourbonnais, my friend.
You got it. It's right down the road. We make it every year.
I know where you're at in Wilmington. Thank you, Dan. Gee, listen, a couple months. What about, when do they put on pads? Go to Ron in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hello, Ron. Transmitter's pumping
Murph.
out. Hi, Ron.
Great show, man.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm 42, and I know popsicle stand, so.
Oh, now, wait a minute. You're a fella, 42 years old, and you don't say, let's blow this pop stand when you want to leave us. Let's blow this popsicle stand?
That's what I remember, yeah.
Wow. Well, right now, our text results are dead even, 50-50, old school, new school. Blow this pop stand, blow this popsicle stand. Let's get the hell out of here. Me, I love fudgesicles. All right, Ron, what do you have for me on the umpire?
It was a great play. But to me, when I first saw it, it looked like he was going to call him safe, and then he ended up calling him out. And then Stoney came on and said that, and I kept looking at the replay, and the more I saw it, the more I couldn't determine whether he was safe or out.
Right.
But I definitely thought that the umpire was stumbling out of the way, and I kept waiting for Stoney to correct what he was saying, but he never did. And, I think he put out the old Jedi mind trick to the fans and even Hawk.
Well, you know what? We all love and listen to what our announcers say, but I just, sometimes you have to use your own eyes and draw your own conclusions, and that's what you did, Ron, up in Milwaukee. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it very much. Hey, Marry Me Jewelry's moving. That means huge savings for you. All inventory is marked down at or below cost, so don't wait. Visit Marry Me Jewelry this week, located on LaGrange Road in LaGrange Park. For more information, call 630-MARRY-ME. Bears next. Not Bears and Bulls. Bears. Cubs are bullish. Cubs are a runaway bull market. 53% old school, 47% new school. Standard deviation, if you're a standard deviant, means that it's basically a tie, 50-50. Half of our listeners say, let's blow this pop stand. The other half go new school. Let's blow this popsicle stand. So I guess either or either is correct.
I don't agree, but if the people say it, then the people say it.
Man, I love a banana popsicle. You ever had an orange?
I'm not a fan.
Tangerine?
Not a fan.
Oh, my God. You're a fan of the Bears, I know that. Still every line ringing. Thank you, Brian Peruk. Oh, let's punch him up. One of my special guys. We hear him through the football season, but right now checking in from fanhouse.com. Over there, the Pro Football Prospectus background of Michael David Smith. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Murph. How you doing, buddy?
I'm just fine, fans. He's the doctor. M.D. Smith, Michael David Smith. Dr. Smith, fanhouse.com, doing a terrific job. Michael, thought it'd be nice. Jay Zawanski said maybe we can get Dr. Smith on for a couple minutes. And always room, there's always room for Jell-O, the old TV ad from when you were a kid. And there's always room for some Bears talk, even in June, right?
Absolutely. There's no NFL off season. I love talking about the NFL 12 months a year.
What's going on real quick at fanhouse.com?
We got a whole lot going on, Murph. The last time you and I talked, actually, our buddy Jay Mariotti had actually just joined the staff. So, Fan House is growing bigger and better all the time, and people who check us out will see a lot of good NFL coverage year-round.
Tell you what, Michael, the story the other day, and it's sort of a page out of the book of Sports Talk Radio. Rank these guys. List it from 1 to 10. It's always fun in the sports bar or at home. You're talking with your buddies, or you're in a chat room, or you're over at fanhouse.com. Let's list the 32 NFL football coaches in order. Well, Everyone's got a different opinion. There's no right or wrong answer. But you got to tip your hat to this one outlet that printed it. They're getting a ton of publicity. And they ranked Lovie Smith, well, let's see, 20th out of 32. 16, 17 would be right in the middle. So they have him, below average in the second half or the second tier. Michael David Smith's the guy I always listen to. Michael, it's not that easy to just say, where do you rank him? But did you think the 20th slot was in line or out of line?
I think it's out of line, Murph. I think that, if you're saying he's 20th, you're saying he's a below-average NFL coach, and I don't think that's correct, looking at the body of work that Lovie Smith has accomplished with the Bears. I also look back at what Lovie Smith did when he was defensive coordinator of the Rams, what he did when he was a Tampa Bay And, Coach, I think the guy knows football. The guy especially knows defensive football. I would certainly have Lovie Smith in the top half of the league. I would not have him 20th. Overall, Murph, I actually liked that list. I thought certainly Belichick was at the top. I thought they got it pretty close. I thought it was good they had Tom Coughlin up high, Mike Tomlin up high. But I definitely, Murph, would have had Lovie Smith higher than 20th, definitely in the top half of the league.
Michael, there's an old expression, and the reason expressions are old is because they're true and tested over time, and they're usually pretty correct. And one expression I'm thinking of now, familiarity breeds contempt. Now, that often is with interpersonal relationships. Oh boy, I've known that guy forever, now I'm mad at him just because we're always there together. Could it be that every town looks at their coach, be it baseball, basketball, hockey, or here, Lovie Smith? We see him every day. We see Lovie Smith 16 games a year. We analyze the timeout he did or didn't call with a minute to go in the game. We are familiar with him, so maybe it's easier to see the negatives of the guy you see every day. And this is in general across sports and the 32 NFL teams.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that, Murph. And I also think that NFL coaches, when you're close to the situation as Bears fans are, Bears fans are obviously passionate and pay close attention. It's easier to notice what the coach of your favorite team does wrong.
There you go.
Notice what he does right. It's real easy to notice things like you just mentioned, a timeout that he should have taken. The really bad play call on 3rd and 1 that after the game you're kicking yourself about. I think what's harder to do sometimes is take a step back and just think, doesn't this team look better coached to you than the Bears did under Dick Duran, under Dave Wanstead? I certainly think so. And I think you would have to say, looking at everything he's done, looking at what kind of team the Bears were before Lovie Smith arrived, I think he's done an above-average job as an NFL head coach.
This hour of The Score brought to you by Menards, visiting for another quick minute with our guy. It's Michael David Smith. Cut his teeth over at Pro Football Prospectus. Reach Michael David Smith at fanhouse.com. I think he's the best in the business. All right, Michael, real quick, the Bears linebacker position seemed to have really taken a step up, solidified. Hope I pronounced Pisa Tino Samoa's name right here, but we all know who we're talking about. What will he bring to the table? Now you have Lance Briggs, Urlacher, and the new guy, Tino Samoa. How good is this guy, or how will he fit in with Lovie's defense?
Murph, what I think Tino Samoa brings is something that you and I have talked about before, is that Lovie Smith, when he is evaluating his defensive players, he wants a guy who is going full speed from the time the ball is snapped until the sort of the echo of the whistle blowing through the whistle blowing. Lovie Smith wants his guys going full speed every single play throughout the play. And when I look at Tino Samoa, that's what I see. I see a guy who goes hard every single play throughout the play, even on the plays where it looks like the ball is going on the other side of the field. I see a guy who's going hard. I know that's the kind of defensive player that Lovie Smith looks for, and that's why I think he's a good fit for what Lovie Smith wants in a defense. I think he's a guy who maybe isn't a great athlete, like a Brian Urlacher is just a great natural athlete, but anything he lacks in athleticism, he makes up for in hard work and hustle. I think he's the type of guy that Lovie Smith wants.
So he'll be starting at strong. He'll be replacing Hillenmeyer and Roach. You still have Briggs and Urlacher, of course. Here's that list. This is like the top 1 through 32. Is this the best linebacking crew now, left to right, in the NFL?
I don't know that it's the best. I think it's very good. I think that spot, even though Kinui Samoa is an upgrade, I still think that that's certainly the weakness. I don't think he's as good a player as Urlacher and Briggs. Is it the best? It's so hard to tell until you see the cohesion on the field. Sure. You see all three of them. I think it's very close to the best. I'm not certain that I would say it's the best right now, but it's up there, and it's definitely going to be a strength of this team.
And final thing, Michael, would be the wide receiver slot. Would you, let's say you're a big Bears fan, I know you look at all 32 teams and you have a look at the NFL from more of a national scope, even though you're a Chicago guy. Would the Bears be happy right now with the wide receiver core that they have on their roster if this were opening day, or do you expect them to say to themselves, we've got to upgrade somehow, some way? What do you see happening at wide receiver for Jay Cutler?
You know, I think they're going to more or less stick with what they have. I think it would certainly be nice to see another playmaker there. Nice to see a player with more of a proven track record of making plays. It is a big wild card. How well can Jay Cutler and the receivers they have work together? But you know, right now, based on what they have and what might be available out there, it seems to me that the Bears are looking like they're going to head into the season with what they have. So if you're a Bears fan, you just have to hope that what they have now is going to be good enough.
Fanhouse.com, best in the business, the Dr. Michael David Smith. Michael, looking forward to our next visit, and I highly appreciate all our previous get-togethers. See you down the line for sure, my friend.
Thanks, Murph. You are the best in the business, and I will love to talk to you again.
Thanks, Michael. See you, buddy. M.D. Smith. He's a good doctor.
And now it's time for another Murph moment.
Let me just say this. Maybe Jerry Reinsdorf was right. Maybe he had a better handle on all this than you gave him credit for. Payroll and attendance. Maybe Jerry Reinsdorf was right. The payroll for the White Sox last year, 2008, $121 million. Payroll this year, Chicago White Sox, $96 million. These are numbers from USA Today. Difference? Exactly $25 million less. Approximately 20% cutback in payroll. Now, you have said, as Sox fans, I like it and I don't like it. Back in the winter, why are they slashing payroll? I don't like it. Or, hey, you know what? We can win with a lower payroll. We don't need no stinking high payroll like the Cubs or the Yankees. You might be on either side as a Sox fan. That's not the point. Let's go now to see if Jerry Reinsdorf was right. He predicted, Jerry predicted back in the winter that the economy, the recession, would soften demand for tickets at U.S. Cellular and across baseball. Here is the attendance so far this year at the same point in time. We did these yesterday, I believe, 30 games in. Last year, 30 games in this year. We might be one off. They had 25,000 last night, but, you know, that's a grain of sand in the big picture of the ocean beach. All right. $25 million less payroll, down approximately 20%. Attendance, this point of the season last year, 27,150 average. As of yesterday, 25,000 this year, 350. Approximately 8 to 9% fewer fans going through the gates. Now, the argument, chicken or the egg, could be made. Well, last year, at this time, the Sox were in first place. And then, Jay Zawoski, you noticed the numbers in 08 dramatically went up,
in the second half.
In the second half of the season. So the 8 to 10% loss right now, mark to mark, could be much higher because the Sox kicked ass attendance-wise in the second half last year, and whether that occurs this year or not remains to be seen. So attendance down, could go down more, payroll down dramatically. Maybe Jerry Reinsdorf was right.
This has been another Murph moment.